$443 each and every month. They owe us, and I have all the details right here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. All right, now in this video, I want to discuss the details of a couple new reports that were just released as they pertain to us, the American people, and how much they owe us as a result of everything going on. Some surprising numbers here in this video, so let's get right into it. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and because I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, doing all the research, and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay updated with what's actually going on, and most importantly, how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course, anything out there right now you can possibly grab and or take advantage of. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, so you don't miss any videos going forward. And also remember, I'm always here for you in any way that I possibly can be. That's my dedication, that's my commitment, and as always, that is my promise to you and everybody right here in the community. All right, thanks again. Let's get into it and talk about these surprising numbers and how much they technically owe us as a result of everything going on. That was no fault of our own, right? I think we can all probably agree with that. Everything that's been going on here for the last couple of years has been no fault of our own. At least I don't think so. That's in my opinion, by the way, and I think a lot of us here in the community probably agree. Yeah, we did not choose this current situation, right? At least I certainly didn't, and I'm pretty sure that most of you here in the community also did not choose this current situation, right? I don't think we chose to struggle as much as everybody is right now. I don't think we wanted that, right? Well, as a result of that, I want to talk through a couple of reports that were just released and what all of these numbers mean, because honestly, this is yet again some more shocking information. But at the same time, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not that surprising based on everything we've been talking about for the last couple of years now. It's not that surprising, especially over the last year or so. It's, again, not surprising to see these numbers that are being released right now. So let me talk you through the details about this. First off, there's a couple of reports here. I'm going to talk through the first one right away, and then we'll talk through some other numbers as well. This first report that was just released is showing the average household right now is spending an extra $443 every single month on what? Fun stuff? Nope, it's all because of inflation, yes. So as of right now, the average household, now again, the average household, some households might be spending an extra $100, some might be spending an extra $300, some might be spending an extra $800, $900, or even $1,000. But this is on average, the average household is spending an extra $443 more right now, every single month, just to keep up with the same things that we were buying 1 year ago from right now. So if we could rewind the clock 1 full year, we'd basically have an extra $443 on average in our pocket every single month versus spending it like what we're doing right now just to basically cover the same old things. And when I'm talking the same old things, I'm literally talking the necessities like utilities, which by the way, have gone up yet again a lot over a year ago, like electricity prices, gas prices, whatever it takes to heat your home, things like that, again, have gone up a ton. We also know that food has gone up substantially, about 13.5% from where it was a year ago. Well, again, we're buying food probably on a weekly basis, right? Or maybe every 10 days or something like that, whatever it happens to be, buying food again on a very regular basis as well. So again, not only that, other things like healthcare costs. I mean, across the board, virtually everything. Shelter is up about 6.5% of what it was over last year at this time. Again, everything all adds up, right? A little bit here, a little bit there, it all continues to add up. And again, coming out to that $443 more every single month for the average household. Now again, we talk about this all the time because here's the thing. Most of you here in the community are low income and or fixed income beneficiaries. Does your benefit increase by $443? I'm going to go ahead and say probably not, okay? I would say the vast majority of people are not getting an extra $443 today than what you had last year from your monthly benefit. Well, if that's the case, and if you're the average household spending that extra $443 per month, then guess what? Are you really spending that much more money, or do you need to cut back by that much? Well, here's the thing. If you're strictly living on a fixed income and your income is not increasing, well, guess what happens then? If your income doesn't increase, that means that you need to cut back by that dollar amount in order to just get by each and every month, right? Because your money's not increasing, therefore, what do you got to do? You got to cut back, unfortunately. And again, I see this down below in the comment section all the time where many of you here in the community are reaching out saying, I have $1.07 left. I have 42 cents left. I have 13 cents left in my account for the rest of the month, or however much longer it's going to be until you get your next payment. Again, not a good situation, right? This is a really, really tough time for a lot of people. And again, cutting back. I've seen it down below in the comment section for a very long time now. A lot of people reaching out saying, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough food. I don't have the money that it takes to heat my home properly, or, all the different things that are coming out right now. So really sad situation, and this is really what it's coming down to. So let me say this one more time. Did we all ask for this? Did we ask for this current situation? No. Did it all come on to us with virtually no fault of our own? Pretty much, right? Did all this inflation that was caused, was that our problem? Did we print up all the money? No. Did we cause all this inflation? No. So at the end of the day, do they kind of owe us? In my honest opinion, it feels to me like if the average household is spending an extra $443 a month, then I feel like we should be compensated, right? Does anybody else agree with that? We should maybe be compensated for what we need to come out of pocket because of no fault of our own, right? Just like, for an example, let me give you a quick example on this. Let's just say that you're working at a job, right? For some weird reason, you need to pay for company expenses out of pocket because maybe you don't have like a company spending account or a company credit card or something like that, and you need to pay out of pocket. What happens generally? You submit a ticket back to the company, whatever it happens to be, some type of formal, some type of formal form that is sent back to the company, and you say, hey, I spent $20 of my personal money. I expect you to repay me back. And what do? They generally pay you back, right? A reimbursement form. You've probably dealt with this at some point throughout your working career. You've probably done something like this, or you've heard about it, or you've seen it happen with another person, right? It's not that uncommon, right? You come out of pocket for something and you ask them to reimburse you because it shouldn't be your expense, right? Same old thing here with this. This inflation, the current situation, is not our situation. We did not cause this. Therefore, it's an expense incurred by not us, and we should be properly compensated, right? Again, can we? Well, that's another question. We'll have to kind of continue to see what actually happens here. But again, this is everybody's own opinion on this, and I feel like, hey, compensate us. You know what I mean? At least a little bit. Maybe not the full 443, but maybe, I don't know, a couple $100 a month certainly would help out a lot of people right now. So anyway, very interesting report. Now next, I want to point this out as well because this is also a little bit contradictory to something that else I talked about here just a few days ago. And again, I'm really scratching my head on this one because the report that I talked about just a couple days ago was pointing out that we, the American people, had $4.7 trillion in savings. Now, I just came across another report that is drastically different than that report. Let me tell you the details on this one. So, this new report that was just released is showing the average, let me take that back. Not the average, the cumulative savings across the United States, as in all American people. So, you, me, everybody watching this video, and everybody else across the entire United States. We all collectively have $626 billion in savings. That's not very much money. I'm going to say that right now. Between the 333 million people in this country, we collectively have $626 billion in savings, which, by the way, let me give you a comparison on that. So they actually showed in this report that back in the second quarter of 2020, so like, 2.5 years or so ago, at that same time, we, the people, the American people, had $4.85 trillion in savings, okay? So we've essentially depleted our savings by $4.2 trillion in, say, 2.5 years. Okay, that's a major problem. I'm not sure if anybody else sees the major problem with this, but that is a major, major problem. And by the way, this $626 billion that we apparently have in savings right now is the lowest number that we've seen in about a decade. So that's a very long time that we've had this low of savings collectively across the American people. Now, let me point out something else because they mentioned this in the report, and honestly, this is just a plain sad statement. So, over the last couple of years here, we've been talking about this new saying going around saying, it's the new normal. It's the new normal. Have you heard this before? Obviously, you've heard this over the last couple of years here. You hear all kinds of people saying this. It's the new normal. We'll have to get used to the new normal. Well, get this. In this report, they went out to say that living paycheck to paycheck right now is the new normal. Really? The new normal in this country is living paycheck to paycheck? I'm going to go out there and say that is plain old sad, and honestly, that's just not even right. You know what I mean? The new normal, that's what we're calling it these days. The new normal is living paycheck to paycheck. You've got to be kidding me. Seriously? That's not okay. Living paycheck to paycheck should never be the new normal for anybody, okay? That just seems really messed up, okay? If that is the new normal, as they're calling it in this report, then I'm going to go ahead and say this much. If the new normal in any given country or any given location is living paycheck to paycheck, you probably want to look at things because something is seriously wrong if that's the case for the vast majority of people. That should never be the normal. Living paycheck to paycheck should never be the normal, okay? Again, that's my opinion, but if that's the case, then what are we doing here? You know what I'm talking about? If that's really the new normal, then what are we really doing here? Does anybody else ask that question? Like, what's really going on here? You know what I mean? Something is seriously, seriously wrong, in my honest opinion, if that happens to be the new normal. And again, that's just what they're saying. But again, I say, I'm going to push back on that and say, no. Something is seriously wrong, and we got to find a solution to this because this is not okay. This should not be the normal, and it should never be the normal in any country, including the United States. So anyway, that's what they're talking about in this report. So here's what's interesting about it. Okay, we've been coming across these reports for a long time now. In fact, maybe 6 months ago. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not really sure when it was. Maybe 6 months, maybe 5 months, maybe 7 months ago. We saw another report that came out when inflation was even worse than it is now, coming out saying that the average household was spending over $700 per month more because of inflation. So to be fair, over the last, I'm going to call it 6 months or so, yes, the average household is spending about $300 less per month, technically, according to the report from about 6 months or so ago, until current, but still, the average household, no wonder why everybody's living paycheck to paycheck right now, because any money that's being earned is being spent right away on inflation. We're basically handing over our hard-earned dollars and our hard-earned money that you've worked for so many years of your life trying to get, and all of a sudden we're handing it over because of recklessness and irresponsibility by things that are outside of our control. Again, it's not our fault. Was this all of our fault? I don't think so, right? We have no control over this stuff. So anyway, we're unfortunately just the ones that have to sit here, and we have to continue to wait for all the a bigger change to come in and something to be changed on our behalf. So again, like I said, we'd be waiting for some kind of compensation on this. Just like any employer, just like any job that you may have, if you incur personal expenses, we would expect it to be compensated by the company, right? Submit that form and say, hey, give me my 20 back. I spent 20 bucks on whatever it happens to be. I want it back, right? You know what I mean? Same old thing here in this situation, except the numbers are a lot bigger. In this case, about $443. And again, even like I said, even a couple $100 per month would certainly be a huge, huge difference for a lot of people, considering if people are living paycheck to paycheck right now, even an extra $100, an extra $200 would be the difference of, well, probably not living paycheck to paycheck anymore, barely scraping by, but still it would be a huge difference. So anyway, a couple reports here I wanted to share with you. And again, these are some big, big numbers. Now here's one other thing I want to throw out really fast. Just not that long ago, a few days ago, I was out in that separate report talking about the other report that I was talking about, saying that the American people had $4.7 trillion in savings. And now they're saying $626 billion, by the way. So again, there's a major discrepancy there. Something is not right. But either way, as I was out in that video a couple days ago, I was saying there's no possible way that we, the American people, have $4.7 trillion in savings right now. There's no possible way. Well, here we are. Now we found this other report saying $626 billion. And I would say that's probably more along the lines of what's actually accurate in this country. So I would say this second report here that we're talking about in this video, I would say is probably much more accurate than the 4.7 that I mentioned in that video the other day. Not really sure where that came from, but that was what the report was saying, and I was calling it out right there in that video. I was saying there's no way that we have $4.7 trillion in savings, and now this report is showing this. So again, I would probably lean on this second report here. I would say this one is probably far more accurate. $626 billion. And again, that's a very small number. Collectively, across all the American people, that's not much money for 333 million people, right? So anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. I want to continue watching all this stuff because, again, at the end of the day, we need to continue watching what is actually going on because all this is going to impact us in some way, shape, or form. And again, we got to stay tuned with what's actually happening out there. Either way, I'm here for you. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.